All right, just want to say a huge thank you before we get started to our sponsors for helping to make this event free and supporting education. This live session is being recorded and will be accessible right here for 30 days following the event. You can earn CEU credits for participating in today's session. Find the certificate of attendance in the documents section on the site. And without further ado, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, sorry, just kidding. This is like the 2020/21 joke that will never end. I'm sure you've heard that at least 10 times today. Hi, we are super, super excited to be here with you. This actually, I was meeting with Leslie on a webinar she was doing in November, and this was the conversation that kind of wrapped up the evening. Here you go.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Are you going to do a virtual Techshare live at FETC? We thought we might, but it doesn't sound like we are.
I don't know.
You know what, Adam? Do we ask? I mean, part of me is just like, do we ask Jen? Hey, how about we all get together and just do a Techshare?
I have been thinking about what to sing for like months. So
I mean,
you know.
I just personally, I mean, because here's the deal. I mean, we'll just say, and I might regret saying these words. Jen probably thinks she has to pay us, but I really think all of us would probably just say, it's okay. We can just
I just
like
hang
do
out
this.
with everybody.
I just want to hang out with everyone. So if everyone knows that we're just doing it because we love educators and it might not be completely polished, I mean, I think it would be just a hoot and a half to do a virtual Techshare.
And be careful what you wish for, because virtual Techshare it is. We are so excited to be here with you virtually. We are 6 pixels apart for social distancing purposes, but we are really excited to be here with all of you today. This is the Techshare Bunch. As Leslie said, it'll be a hoot and a half production, and we have some amazing people with us. I'm going to dump out and let everyone see everyone's smiling faces, but we have Hall Davidson, Leslie Fisher, Kathy Schrock, and I'm Adam Bellow, and I'm super excited to be with all of you here today. We're really excited to share with you, and you know what? Let me stop screen sharing over here so you can say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Awesome. Well, it's good to see everybody. Sorry I can't bring you a Diet Coke, Leslie, or give everyone there a hug, but there you go. Have Diet Coke, we'll travel. Awesome. So let's get started. I just want to remind everyone there is, of course, the hashtags for the event, which is Techshare Live and hashtag FETC. But of course, if you're watching this live, you can look at the session chat over here and be sure to comment. We'll be following along with the chat. I see a lot of people responding to my sound check, so thanks so much for that. Appreciate the fact that you humored that, or hopefully found it funny. All right, so this is obviously where we were hoping we would be. I can tell you it's 18 degrees here. I know, Kathy, I think you beat me because it's like negative 12 degrees where you are. Paul and Leslie are in California, so I don't know if I have much, but it's raining, so that's a thing. But but we all wish we would be over here at this location, and instead we are here. But we're excited to hopefully be back here very soon all together. This year's been very strange for so many people, including, of course, our own students. This is my son and I guess my daughter, technically. I don't know if you want to call her that, but this is school, right? This was school last year. This is school this year on certain days. And education has definitely been very, very obviously impacted based on the world events. And I think with technology, we have come into this whole space where it's like there is such an overload of so many new things and things that teachers just have to learn to be able to kind of get by and make their classroom an engaging and exciting place, as well as to do the work that they would be doing when they were face-to-face. So kudos for all of you who have kind of rolled with the punches. For so many reasons, we feel like you've been training for this for so long, especially the FETC crowd. You guys know a lot about the value of technology and how to implement it. I think hopefully you've been able to help your fellow teachers in arms being able to kind of use these things and leverage them. So we start by saying, on behalf of all of us here, a sincere thank you for the incredible hard work that you're doing. We know it is incredibly tough to be a teacher on a regular day, on a regular year, and this has been anything from it with so many obstacles that you've been facing, and just thank you so much. So as a thank you, I couldn't get you all gifts, but there is the gift of song. And you might think it's not really a gift. As in FETC fashion, every year for the last while, we've been doing a quick parody to start the show. And so this year, unfortunately, the Weird Al-esque, Weird Adam-esque version of this is going to be coming your way. So I've looked at all the places and all the people who I've kind of parodied over the years. And the one genre who I really stayed away from was alternative pop punk. And so what artist needed to get done was Green Day. So here's a little song for you. from the American Idiot album. Here you go. Oh, thanks, Leslie. All right, here it is. Enjoy.
"2020 has come and passed. Guess wearing masks is here to last. Wake me up when the school year ends. 7 months have gone by so fast. My Purell stash better last. Wake me up when the school year ends. Kids, you're on mute again. Please turn your cameras on. Stop your screen sharing now. Hey, you should have pants on. Feel your community's respect. I hope they don't soon forget. Wake me up when the school year ends. 2020 has come and passed. I hope my sanity will last. Wake me up when the school year ends. Google Classroom went down again, like it did when the year began. Wake me up when the school year ends. We're going remote again. Can't you stay 6 feet apart? You're all on mute again. Please turn your damn cameras on. As teachers, you never rest. This year's been quite the test. Wake me up when the school year ends. Wake me up when the school year ends.
Whew. Well, it goes without saying, the thank you part of this, obviously, hopefully it was taken in stride and you enjoyed that. Well, enjoy is probably the wrong word. I want to say thank you for not waiting for September to show up. The fact that you come every day ready to battle what is in front of you. You're dealing with obviously the same pandemic that everyone else is, but also taking your students and their health and their well-being and everything else in stride. So again, thank you so much for coming and also sharing with us and trying to grow and learn as educators to find new tools and ways to engage your students. We really do appreciate it. And again, I say a sincere thank you. Now, thank you to a teacher of mine, the one, the only, Kathy Schrock. Kathy, you ready to take it away?
I am. Thanks, Adam. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I choked on water. The panting. I
saw
just took a swig of water, and I had to leave. Sorry to interrupt, Kathy. I had to leave because I was
Stop in. All right. I only have 12 minutes. Shh. Okay. You know me. All right. Hold on one second. Ready? I know that was awesome. It always is awesome every year. All right. So hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Schrock. If you don't know me, I'm from New Jersey originally. I live in Massachusetts now, and I talk really fast. And since we only have 12 minutes, I'm going to talk even faster. So I've decided to theme my section today with two of my favorite things, coffee and podcasts. So I want you to sit back, relax, listen to the cafe sounds, enjoy your coffee, and get ready to explore podcasts. I'm going to cover why podcasts, some great ones for students and teachers, creating a podcast, and how to make a great cup of coffee. Oh, well, maybe not the last one. Why have students listen to podcasts? Podcasts can help them develop their listening skills. I feel these listening skills are being eroded by the constant barrage of images and videos that students are subjected to. ICT Magazine provided some easy ideas for students to work on their listening skills development using podcasts. Let's go through a couple of these. Have students read a short story of a summary of the podcast, predict 3 things that they think the presenters will talk about, and have them listen and check. Choose 10 words or phrases you think the presenters will use, play the podcast. How many did you hear? Keep track. If you listen to episodes of the same podcast regularly, you'll start to notice the same phrases appearing lots of times. Play 2 minutes of the podcast, stop and predict what you will hear next, continue listening where you correct, repeat this at a few different points in the podcast. Listen to the whole podcast without stopping, write a short summary of what you heard, or record an audio summary of it. There are tons of great podcasts for students at all levels, most of which I find very fascinating too. Let's start with a couple for elementary students. The first one is Tumble, a podcast about scientific discoveries. Let's give a listen to the intro.
Hi, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Marshall. Welcome to Tumble, the show where we explore stories of science discovery.
Today we're going on an adventure to the top of a volcano that's about to erupt.
Really? That sounds, dangerous.
Don't worry, it's safe. We're following a scientist who studied the warning signs of volcanic eruptions on one of Alaska's biggest volcanoes.
Well, in that case, buckle up and look out for some lava.
I love that one. The next one is Brains On, which includes very clever podcasts based on science and history. Here's a bit of one.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to Ink Outside the Box. We are a showcase of talented poets inspired by the greatest inkers of our time. But first, everybody, let's see what kinds of ink appreciators we have here tonight. Round of applause if you're a clicky pen. And how about markers? Any markers out there? Don't be shy. I know you all tend to show up in packs of 12. Any quill pens make it here tonight? Quill pens? Perfect. We are so glad to have you all here. And now, on with the show. We have got a great batch of poems for you. Let's get started with a few limericks. Oh, or should I say limericks?
That one's awesome too. This one is Classics for Kids, which introduces students to classical composers. They include lesson plans, activity sheets, quizzes, and many other resources for both teachers and parents on their site. And their episodes can be listened to on Alexa and Google Home devices if you have those at home or in the classroom.
Hello, welcome to Classics for Kids. I'm Naomi Lewin. Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov is hardly the only composer to have painted a musical portrait of an animal with wings. In fact, he's not even the only one who wrote a piece about a bee.
And Adam told me about this one. Every Smash Boom Best episode takes 2 cool things, smashes them together, and lets the listener decide which is best. There's debaters that use facts and passion to make their cases, teaching listeners how to defend their opinions along the way. You can also find a great directory of podcasts for students on the Kids Listen app for iOS and Android. For middle and high school students, my favorites are Sci-Fi, which includes information about science, technology, and other cool stuff. Undiscovered, which is a podcast about the left turns, missteps, and lucky breaks that make science happen. And Science Diction, which digs into the origin of a single word or phrase, and with the help of historians, etymologists, and scientists, reveals a surprising science connection. Let's take a quick listen to Science Diction from March 10th, 2020.
If you've been on the internet at all the past few years, this song is ingrained in your brain. The original Gangnam Style video has been viewed over 3 billion times, and it spawned endless parodies. versions inspired by video games,
Super Mario style,
and former presidential candidates,
Mitt Romney style,
and even the more quotidian,
working farmer style.
You have to listen to the whole thing to get into it, but I just thought that was great. Targeted more towards the tween crowd, 6 Minutes is a mystery series that unfolds in 6-minute episodes published twice a week. When I looked, there were 276 episodes. It would keep any middle school student on the edge of their seat. It's the only podcast I've ever come across that has a trailer as episode 1. Let's listen to part of the trailer.
There are kids in this world who are different, special.
Girl! What? Floating in the water. She's right. There's a girl out there, look.
They look like us and they act like us, but they are not us.
Cyrus, what are you doing? Cyrus! You're going in.
Cyrus, swim back to the boat! Cyrus!
She's alive!
And one of them is missing.
So if that doesn't get you wanting to listen to it, I don't know what would. And high school students will learn a lot from stuff you missed in history class. I learned a lot from it. Brought to you by How Stuff Works. It has a focus on weird events, overlooked stories, and underrepresented groups in history. As one who talked all through history class and also everywhere else in my life, I learned a lot from this podcast. Let's listen.
Welcome to Stuff You Missed in History Class, a production of iHeartRadio.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Tracy V. Wilson.
And I'm Holly Fry.
And today we are drawing straight from the listener requests again. This is another one that has been requested many, many, many times. It is orphan trains. If you have never heard of orphan trains before, this probably sounds to you like trains full of orphans being taken to new homes, which is kind of correct. Between 1854 and 1929, about 250,000 children were taken to new families by train, except they weren't really called orphan trains at all at the time. A lot of the children were not actually orphans, and a lot of times these families who were taking them in were more like employers. So that is the story that we're going to tell today.
So there's also many podcasts for educators available too. Since you don't have a lot of time during the day to listen to podcasts, I wanted to point out one created especially for when you're commuting or working out. This is the Classroom Commute podcast by Rachel Parlett. Each weekly episode is about 20 minutes long. She had one that included strategies to teach students how to make predictions. So her stuff is great. Another podcast for teachers is Kevin Reinemann's Magic Potion EDU podcast. He interviews an educator each week, and his interview skills are great. I recently was a guest on the show with him, and actually it went live today, just coincidentally. So let's listen to just a part of that.
What about for teachers that are heading into their final semester before retirement? How do we make sure they don't just hit the cruise control on their Tesla on the way out the door?
Okay, so first of all, leave your paper and digital files for your newbie. All right, leave everything for them. You can take copies of it, but if you still have paper that you printed on the Mimeo machine, leave it there. All right, leave your stuff for the newbie. You don't need it at your house. Digital ones, usually they're going to clean your computer, so put it on, burn it off, put it on the server, do whatever you need to do so that the newbie has a place to start. Next, have a bonfire with your certification notebooks. You don't need them anymore. All right. So anyway, that was some of my pithy comments, but his podcasts are great and he's a really good interviewer. Of course, you can listen to many educational podcasts on your way to and from work, or while you're taking a run after school, or in your spare time before bed. The TeacherCast site, founded by Jeff Bradbury, includes almost 150 podcasts of interest to educators. And you need to add all your podcasts to your aggregation site of choice. So when a new episode comes out, you automatically receive it in your list of podcasts. The same goes for students. There are any number of places to subscribe to your podcasts. Some of the most popular are Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Breaker. And if you want to create your own educational podcast and get added to the TeacherCast directory, you may use Anchor to create, host, and aggregate your podcast so others can subscribe. Here's my podcast, Kathy's Corner, on Anchor. This is the web page version, but you can see listeners can subscribe to the podcast series from many different podcast aggregators. And Anchor also leads viewers to my social media accounts and my website to increase my following. I wanted to show you how easy it is to create a podcast on Anchor, so I made this sample. This is speeded up, so I stayed within my 12 minutes, but you'll see I'm recording the intro, I record the podcast, I record the outro, I put in a title and info, and I publish it. So you'll see that.
Hi, everybody. This is Kathy Schrock, and welcome to Kathy's Corner.
That's the intro. Give it a name. You can save it for next time.
This is a test showcasing how easy it is to create a podcast with Anchor.
That's the podcast itself, very short.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time in Kathy's Corner.
Outro, which I can use another time. Putting music behind the outro and the intro. Add it, and then you publish it. And so here's what that sounds like in real time.
Hi, everybody. This is Kathy Schrock, and welcome to my podcast, Kathy's Corner. This is just a sample episode of the podcast to showcase how easy it is to create a podcast on Anchor FM.
Shortest podcast on record. But you saw how easy that was.
Thanks for coming, and see you next time in Kathy's Corner.
So anybody can do that.
I'm totally going to subscribe.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, especially short podcasts. So a side note, if you have a podcast and you need to make a transcript from it, I also figured out a way to make a transcription of a podcast or video or audio file on your desktop. Open Google Docs, Tools, and Voice Typing. Start the audio file you want to transcribe and hit the mic button in the Google Doc and watch what happens.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Smith and I'm a first grade teacher going into my 15th year of teaching. I've always taught first grade and I've always been in the same district. While veteran teachers who have taught the same grade level for quite some time have a strong grasp of curriculum.
So you get the idea and it works great. And also, while I was searching for a podcast for this presentation, I even found a podcast series about coffee that I will be putting on my must-have list. So the PDF with all the links to what I shared is in the folder for the Techshare, or you can get it here. And that's my contact information, and I hope I kept it in my 12 minutes. Thank you.
Well, it was just so good, Kathy. You went just a drop longer, just a drop. But I'll tell you, that was really cool. My kids love Smash Boom Best, so I'm sure they'll be excited to see that. And thanks for sharing all those other ones, as well as that Anchor tool. I have not seen that or played with that, so I'm going to give that a shot. So I'm taking notes here of the things I want to play with. And now I am excited to hear what Hall's going to bring to my must-do list for later on. Hall, you ready to take it away?
I am. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yes.
The true test of a 2021 I don't know, whatever. Go ahead.
You see me, so that's good. Yeah, I am Hall Davidson. Thank you. I've been in education so long. My first cohort was a Roman cohort, just so you know. Finally, I get a response to that one. There's a tiny URL. Like Kathy, I do tend to move fast. All the slides are there. They're there right now. Take a screenshot right now of the QR code and you'll be able to get all of these. My stuff is there. A lot of times Kathy, Leslie, and Adam will share with me and I'll put their stuff there too, so you'll have it. Anyway, please follow me on Twitter. All these people up there have more followers than I am, and it just bums me out. As an early adopter, it bums me. Please follow me. We are distance learning. Thank you for having me here, by the way, to FETC. Thanks to all of you for the great job you're doing. We will be going back. That will happen. We want to be ready for that. So my readiness story for going back to school starts in March of last year. This is my local market. It's not a supermarket. It's a small market. I'm in California, and we're pretty tight out here, but you get to go to the market. There's senior hours and everything else, but the aisles are only 5.5 feet wide. The aisles in my local market are 5.5 feet wide, 5.75 feet wide. I know this because I measured it. Right? I measured it. This is a reenactment because Yoda was just a gleam in someone's eye, Baby Yoda at that time. But I measured it. So if it's 5.5 feet, if you cross both ways, there's no way you're 6 feet across from somebody. So I decided what I would do. A friend and I solved this problem. We decided to get arrows, vinyl arrows, and give it to the store so they could make aisles one way. Then you could be 6 feet from somebody in a realistic way. So arrows one way. Thought this was a brilliant idea. Notice it cost me, for a small market, $91 to do this, $91 in Amazon arrows. So here's what I discovered then. And this is kind of a nice thing. If you go back to schools, you're going to have the same issue with hallways, same issue with doors, same issue with a lot of other stuff. Oh, Adam, I forgot to turn on my timer. Hang on, here we go.
I got you, Hall. Don't worry.
Thank you, thank you. So if it cost me $91 to make arrows for my small market, what's it going to cost for a school? Well, here's what I found out. I found a printer where you can print it out. It's only $600. So this is an Epson. I'm sure there are others. Epson is one of the sponsors of FETC. You can get it through CDW, but you can actually print it out. Now, if it's $100 that I spent, this is safer. You still got to buy the medium, which is great. And by the way, for you early adopters, $649 compared to what I paid in 1990 for my personal laser writer. By the way, it was $450. It was, as they say in 2001, $896. So when you compare that, a printer that will print out those arrows or signs like this, if you can see this thing, look, this is a medium. It came on that printer. And look, I can just peel it off. And then I've got something that's a little heavier than paper. I have to peel it. A little heavier than paper, and I'm in good shape. So you get the idea. Never peel under pressure. And what am I going to do with this safe distancing? So I'm going to do it. Anyway, here you go. So you just peel it off like that, right? And you've got all this. Anyway, print them out yourself, and it's cheaper. But do pay attention to that distancing if you're going to be having hallway passing. And by the way, speaking of printers, before we had drives, before there were thumb drives, we had these things, zip cartridges, which we called sort of torso drives because they'd fit in a fanny pack. You'd take your document to a printing service, and that's how you print it out. So a printer was very exciting for me. That's what I like to do. Anyway, once we are back, we're going to have kids. And one thing we've learned about this, been working with a lot of administrators, is that COVID has taught us that it's Maslow before Bloom. It's the pyramid before it's the taxonomy. We've got to learn to take care of people, make sure their emotion needs taken care of. Maslow before Bloom. It's the big lesson that everybody seems to have learned. That means that both now and when they come back, we're going to need to function in a way that includes a lot of SEL. Now, SEL, social emotional learning, is important. These are kids from Broward County, Florida. They're successful. They're happy. This is in the before time. They're nearby. They're at a conference, but now they're not. So it's not just students. It's also teachers. This is a module for teachers. Teachers, administrators are also feeling the stress of this new environment. So again, these slides are all there. We're not going to spend time on these, but pay attention to yourself. Take care of yourself. And look at modules like this. This was put together by the good folks at Kaiser, Discovery Education, and others. It's totally free. Take a look at it. There's a lot of others that are here. This is also at the website. It's a PDF. Lots of good SEL experiences. One of those, by the way, is the Amazing Me. This is designed for students, but it also has a parent component. And again, it's free. A parent component because parents should be teaching SEL too. Don't you think? They should be experiencing all that stuff at home. So this is Amazing Me. It's about body confidence at the elementary level. It's for elementary students, and you want to get them body confident before they hit middle school, right? Which is going to be tough. These are the family resources. So if you have kids that are learning at home, the family can work on this together. It's good stuff. And I thought, since we have a chat room, that I would give you one of the exercises that we give to elementary school kids and let you put the body affirmation that in a time of COVID that you would most like to see. So you see them up there. I'm not going to read them to you, but number 1, I'm beautiful and unique. 7, I'm surrounded by love. 3, my worth is not determined by my weight. These are things that, yes, are designed for elementary school kids, but I'd like you to put a number that you'd like to be affirmed with in COVID. You know, they call it COVID-19 because everybody's tended to eat a little bit. So let's make sure we have a body affirmation here. So, I'm looking over to where I've got the chat. I want to just see some of the numbers that are coming in. All you have to do is put in the numbers. I don't see, well, I can't scroll to the bottom.
Oh, remember, hon, it's a 20-second delay. So they're just getting,
Thank you, Leslie.
You bet, hon.
I know nobody's putting a number in the chat. I felt bad. Anyway, these are the kind of things we'd like kids to be able to do, but you can do them at home. And I thought it'd be fun for us to do it too. So I'm not going to wait the 20 seconds because Adam's got me on a clock. So I'm going to move on. Let's look at something else that works both in distance learning and back in school, and that's virtual reality. Now, virtual reality to me has really made leaps in the last year. This to me is really the game changer. The Quest 1 was great. The Quest 2 VR headsets, $299, but you can use one headset for a whole class, whether they're in person or whether they are at home. And how do you do that? You do that, well, and by the way, $450, $299, that's for the smaller size, smaller memory, but they work pretty well. Compare that to the cost of a field trip. Used to be, right? We used to get on the bus, we had to pay for all that stuff. So it's a cheaper kind of field trip, but how do you do it for everybody? Well, you can, in the Oculus headset now, you can push it out to a whole class. You can push it out either by casting it to your own screen or by using Facebook Live on a screen that everybody sees. So they don't have to log into Facebook to see it, but much like we're pushing out to a different environment on a different screen, because we're doing this in Zoom, pushing out to another one, you can do this, push it out to anybody that's got a screen open, and then share that screen. So no one has to go into Facebook, but you can push it out. And look, you can see who may be watching in the home environment, right? Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's someone you want to get their attention. What you'll see is in your headset, I did this yesterday, you see the screen about casting. I cast from my headset, here's my headset, I cast from this into my Mac. From the Mac, I can zoom out to other people. So you can go from a single experience out to everybody. That's again, a huge game changer. So what does it mean? It means that you can see things like this. In my VR, and this is, I'm trying not to play videos because it's difficult with thousands of people online. But I'm going to try it. This is a spider, and in the headset or on the shared screen, you're looking around and you're surrounded by the spider and the web and everything else. It is completely spooky. If you don't like spiders, you do not want to go to this site. This is Micro Monsters from David Attenborough, but it's amazing. Imagine what a great experience this is. Now here's another one. This was funded by Ellen DeGeneres, but I think the way they must have done is had a gorilla like puppet or something, because these gorillas come up and look. And again, this isn't a video. This is a 3D immersive environment. And they come up and they look and they sniff and they stare. It's just magical. And it's not just for nature. You can also visit other professions and other things. Anyway, it's very, very cool. What did I do with it? I have a friend, Lance, who has a foundation, Purple Loop Foundation. They take kids from inner city Philadelphia and Harrisburg and take them to a virtual learning experience, well, an actual learning experience at a college nearby to get them ready in the mindset of college. But this year they couldn't do it. So they're at home, but they still wanted to go places. So he sent me a list and said, can you take them one of these places? So we went to Paris. I went live. Lance was sharing his screen. Purple Feet, great foundation, by the way. I know Leslie's looking for nonprofits. Great foundation. So he pushed it out and we took them first to Philadelphia. This is, again, in a headset. This has all been recorded on video, but I just rather show you stills. I think it's a safer medium. Then we went from the City Hall in Philadelphia to the City Hall in Paris, because guess what? That's where they based the City Hall in Philadelphia in. So it's a good experience. You start there. And then we took kids to the places they'd want to see. The Eiffel Tower. I found somebody who actually went to high school in Paris, and she was sharing her experience with the kids at places that they went. Then we went to the catacombs, lots of other places that middle school kids would really love to see. So that's how that worked. It was a lot of fun. If you want to create your own environments, this is new. I love CoSpaces, love CoSpaces. This is a new one, hubs.mozilla.com. You can build your own VR space here. It's from the good folks at Mozilla. Take a look, play with that. Again, you can write all this stuff down, but it is all in the handout. There again, hubs.mozilla.com, manipulate some molecules, do other good stuff, very fun. Here's another thing I really want you to have is in your toolkit, and that's laughter. Laughter. Laughter, how does that work? Well, this is a video.
A lady begins to laugh to herself.
I'm gonna set this up a little bit. This is a video, and I'm not gonna show the video. I've just made screenshots so you can kind of hear what it is. This is from Discovery. It's also in Cheddar.
A lady begins to laugh to herself. Soon, however, the other commuters join in.
If we could look inside everyone's brains on that subway, you'd see a lot of activity in the premotor cortical region, which is the part that responds to laughter and responds by controlling the muscles of the face. So as soon as you hear laughter without even intending to, you are neurally pre-programmed to want to smile.
So let's try that. I'm going to play some laughter, and wherever you are in your house, just start laughing. See if somebody walks in the room. I'll get you started here. Listen. Laugh out loud. Whoa! See if anybody comes in. Somebody will come in the room. It's absolutely magical. So if you need sound effects for this, one of the places I like to go is Zapsplat. This is new. You may have other places where you get sound effects. Please put it in the chat. Here's one, a sound effect from Zapsplat that's perfect that you may have heard during a conference call in your own house. Anyway, lots of fun. So laughter, think about using laughter as part of your class. There's going to be time for that. All right, one of the things we've done a lot here every year is an in memoriam section. These are things we lost in 2020 or we'll lose in 2021. Mostly this is technology and most of it's light, but I did want to take one, we'll get to that, but one serious note. We did lose Sir Ken Robinson in August of last year. He was a keynoter at FETC. We've all been there. He shared the stage one time. We followed. We'd hope our room would be as full as it was for Sir Ken in that big room. We all have little stories. Here's a story that I had. I got to host a book signing for him one time. And I said, let's create something rather than just sign books. Let's create. So we opened up GarageBand. Sir Ken had never used GarageBand before. You know, high risk of failure. Sir Ken create, sat down, banged it out. We did a GarageBand track, and then everybody sort of added to it. He picked the Liverpool bass because he's from Liverpool, like Paul McCartney, he likes to say. Anyway, he did that bass, and people added quotes from his keynote. Here's a little bit of it. That's what he put down. Come on.
If enough people move, that's a movement.
Anyway, it was a great experience. All right, so this is to him. But Leslie, we're not going to go to you on this note. Let's look at some other things that are a little more fun. But you can see we don't see the future, but our jobs are making sure that kids do. It's a great thing. All right, now something a little bit lighter. Here are things we lost in 2020. Travel. I miss travel. I miss airline bathrooms. I like guys talking on the cell phone really loud. You know, I miss all that. I wish I was there. I wish I was in Florida now. Also, end of the trail for Google Expeditions. Google is pulling the plug June 30, 2021. That's really too bad. Worse, though, is that they're pulling the plug on Tour Creator, which is fantastic. You'll be able to download their assets, but that's leaving. Also, these are mainly from Google, the Google Loon Project. You can't make these things up. The Loon Project was taking balloons and floating servers on them so that everybody in remote areas could actually get the internet from these balloons. That's the Google Loon Project. It's got a pin put in it. So there's no more Google Loon Project. Also DSL, RIP, AT&T, the last provider, pulled the plug on October the 1st. You can't get DSL anymore. Also the SAT subject tests, gone. What? They're gone. World history, modern Hebrew, chemistry. Can't take them anymore unless you're in Europe. You can take them in Europe. Also gone is the SAT essay. Oh, many of you will be happy. This is Reggie Wade. He's a social producer at Yahoo Finance. He says, I had a love of writing. I turned it into a profession. I was dismayed when the news came down, but most of us, RIP SATS. So that's also the other thing. These are the things the copyright died on in 2021, January 1st of this year. Look at all this stuff. There's a whole list in the handout. Great Gatsby, now public domain, Agatha Christie, lots of other stuff. So please go look, and these are things that you can use. This now belongs to the people. Go there. There's a whole list there. And that's all the time that I have, but I hope you enjoyed this. Remember, please go get all of these slides. Have a good time. And thank you very much for letting me share what I'm sure is a very heavy workload for all of you. Thanks very much.
Oh, that was awesome. I did make a note though, never to watch that spider video ever. But yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Leslie, let's kick it over to you. Take it away. When you're ready, Hall, you got to stop sharing so Leslie can jump on, and then we'll be good to go.
I was just waiting till my Twitter followers got to be the same as Leslie's until now, but now I'll share this.
We'd still be waiting, Hall.
All right.
I'm kidding. I'm not on mute. I'm just messing with all of you. Hello, wonderful educators. I, from the bottom of my heart, cannot thank you enough for what has got to be one of the craziest, wackadoodliest speed bump of a year, and then the mini speed bump of a year that this is. So please know from the bottom of my heart, I love you and I appreciate you. I want to try to make this quick, so I'm going to dive right into this. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to assume everything's going to be going okay unless one of my fellow Techshare brethren tell me different. And I want to point out that first group to see it, my new logo. Get ready. You're at FETC 2022. Get ready for stickers. Get ready for poker chips. Get ready for patches. Get ready for badge ribbons. Piles of shenanigan-free swag. Well, no, the swag will have shenanigans, but let's just get going. I hope you like my new logo. I'm really trying to share with you things that I think will help you either personally or while you're in this remote learning situation where some of you might be in. And I love the fact that one of the tags that this had was wellness, because I've been really thinking a lot about personal wellness, educator wellness. And Hall, I want to say thank you for mentioning that as well. And I'm going to address that. But one of the first things I want to start with is many of you are presenting from your computers. And there are things that you need to do over and over and over again that you probably want to streamline. I know I was bumping into this in my webinars. So one of the things that I would suggest you take a look at is from a company called Elgato. Elgato is known for streaming. So for example, all my lighting, the green screens that I use, they're from Elgato. And one of the things they make is the Stream Deck. This is a hardware product. However, if you like what I'm about to tell you, you could download the app for free on your iPhone and Android, try it out there. And if you like it, then you can go and buy the product. But I have this hardware and it rocks. It allows you to create customizable buttons to streamline a variety of actions. I use it to do anything from paste in text. I can use this to use PowerPoint to minimize screens, to go from one application to another application. And this has streamlined many of the things that I find myself having to repeat myself again and again and again while I'm in my webinars. So if you haven't heard of this, once again, the app is free on iOS or Android to try it out. And then if you like it, I would highly recommend purchasing, and they come in all different sizes. I would recommend the middle model at the minimum. I kind of wish I had the larger model, but it has definitely made some of the things that I have to do again and again easier. So here's an example of the software. The first screen I have here on the left-hand side, the first two are the lights that I have that are active right now. I have a bunch of text commands, and then you'll see I have a little button for applications. I click on that and it takes me to a subfolder, and I can have folders and subfolders. And in there, you'll see one of these screens is when it's time to open up an application, and it just streamlines all of it. So That is the Elgato Stream Deck. So let me move on to this. And Hall mentioned this, and I want to mention this to you. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. I don't know if you know, I think been shooting out a link for the after party. We're going to have a 1-hour after party after this. And I'm going to try to actually do a demo within my Oculus, because this has been a brain matter saver during this safer at home time. This has been my buddy, and where we cannot be together physically, I am still together socially with this Oculus Quest 2. I completely agree with Hall. This thing is leaps and bounds above the Oculus Quest 1. I use this for exercising. I use this to be social. I spend piles of time in this thing, and if it wasn't for a pandemic, I would feel like I was living this weird Ready Player One world. But instead, I'm engaging with friends and I'm meeting new friends. On New Year's Eve, I celebrated New Year's Eve 4 different times in 4 different time zones in virtual reality with friends, laughed my butt off. So if you need someone to push you and say, look into virtual reality, I am here for that push. I personally love an application called AltSpace. You create an avatar and you hang out with other people. There's even an educator strand in AltSpace, and they have an event once or twice a week, and hundreds will get together. I love AltSpace. You have younger kids, they'd love Rec Room. I mentioned I'm also working out, and I think I forgot this slide. Bad, Leslie. FitXR, it's kind of like boxing meets Guitar Hero, and I'm using it to work out, and it's fantastic. I also simply use this to chill. I love an app called Alcove. My mom, my 80-year-old mom, 1 vaccination in, my 80-year-old mom uses my old Oculus headset and uses Alcove because she can jump in a hot air balloon and go on a 360 hot air balloon tour all over the world. She could jump into a car, go into a car tour. She can go and be underwater. She can meditate. It's such a cool app, and it's completely free. And then Trick for meditation. And then just to show you how crazy this whole VR is now, real VR fishing. I caught a mako shark last night. I'm still proud of myself. Premium bowling, Boulder 222, pro putt, full swing. I'm golfing indoors. I haven't tried this yet, but I have a couple of friends that are completely addicted to let's create pottery in virtual reality, which I think is hysterical. But at the same point, what a great way. And all of the apps I'm showing you do have the ability to be multiplayer or to be able to have communication in there. So let's be honest, not that we've been dishonest. I'm sure a lot of you are probably struggling in this dynamic. I know I am. I'm fine, but I miss being with you. And if I have to see you as a little toon with a fishing pole versus seeing you in Orlando, dang it, I'll take it, because it's that great opportunity to be social. So this is me, hopefully pushing you over the edge. I'm still looking at the time. Adam, I think I got like 4 or 5 minutes left. Am I safe with that one?
You're hanging in, Leslie. Keep going.
I'm trying my
5
best,
minutes.
kiddo. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm probably only going to be able to get the last thing I'm going to do started. So let me go out of order, which you would never know, but here we go. This is probably one of my favorite finds in 2021, and it's something called Note, K-N-O-W-T. And what Note allows you to do is Note allows you to take notes with either in the Note platform, or it lets you bring in notes from Google Docs, or even just drag in a note. While you're taking the notes, you might be curious how your notes are. Anything you place into Note, in the upper right corner is a quiz option, and you could say, quiz me on my notes. And you'll see here, how many questions do you want? Multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, historical ordering, true or false. And I'm going to say, quiz me. And now it is going to create a quiz. Bill Noyce, which I think is wrong. That's fine. I'll get over it. I'm okay with that. Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard to start Microsoft. B. Boom, that one's got to be right. If not, my Microsoft friends are going to find me. Elon Musk founded Tesla. So you know what? If your notes aren't making sense, guess what? Your notes aren't making sense. So this is a great way for you or a student to work on their notes. And if their notes don't make sense, go back to their notes and edit them so they can make sense to be quizzed. They also have a flashcard option. And just recently, they added a teacher portal. So you could actually hook this into Google Classroom or have it stand on its own, and you can assign notes to your student. I did a webinar and invited Abik from Note last week. He just got out of college, and it's a really cool thing that he has this. So let's do this, and then let's try this. Wish me luck. Last year, during Techshare, I mentioned this product, but it just was released, announced, and it wasn't available live, and now it is. And I'm going to finish with this, and I know I'm going to run out of time during it, and that's okay. I am in PowerPoint for the web, and I mentioned this last year. Let's try to break the internet. If you want to join me, get out your mobile device, and let's try this. This is PowerPoint Live. I know ESL is a big situation right now in any form, especially remote learning. So I want to show you how PowerPoint Live helps with ESL. I'm going to click on slideshow, and I'm going to click on present live. When I click on present live, I'm going to say that anyone can see this presentation, and I'm going to click on present live. You, if you want to, can get out your mobile device, and this is where it's going to be that weird 20-second delay. And so I'm going to look at Adam and everyone, go, "Hey, how's everyone doing? You good? Everything good, Adam? You okay? You hanging in there?"
Yeah,
I think I still have I think I still have like 2 minutes. If I'm doing this right, I have 2 minutes.
You have 2 minutes, and I will shorten my stuff.
No, I don't want you to shorten your stuff. Never. What I'm really hoping that in a couple moments, we're going to see that more than 0 people have joined. Is once I see that changing, I'll feel better. So I knew this would last night while I was thinking things over. I was catching my Mako shark. I'm
Leslie, yeah? they're not seeing
I don't
your
think
screen.
we see what you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not seeing what you're actually sharing, Liz.
No way.
We're just seeing the teacher dashboard for Note.
But I've got the transcript.
Bummer. Okay. Hold on. I can do this.
Picture, if you will.
Picture, if you will. I know I'm going to run out of time now.
That is awesome.
Look at chat really quick.
Yep.
If it doesn't happen, it's okay. I'll get over it.
We see it. We see the URL.
All right. So click on that URL, everyone. I don't know if this is going to work because I think I jumped out of this. So we'll find out together. And
it's a server error. Sorry. On the
iPad.
Is it? On the iPad anyway.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry. Well, it could be. It's dang it. You see, so no, here we go. I got one person joined. See, this is all I need. All I need is one person. 6 people have joined. It's happening, people. It's happening. How am I doing on time, Adam?
The top of my head.
I got under a minute. Okay. Yep. All right. This is okay. I'm going to keep going. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say show slides. And what it's going to do is it's going to deliver these slides to you. But the important thing is, and before I leave, I want to point out in the lower left corner of what you're viewing, you have the option to change the language and you can do reactions. And I've already seen a couple of people react to this. So you're able to change it to one of 70 languages while the teacher is talking. It will change to that language for that student. And they could even do reactions. And if I go through the slides will go through on your device as well. I'm hoping some of you can see this because this is something I really wanted to show you last month. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right back to you, Adam. Let me click on stop share.
That was awesome. Thanks so much, Leslie. That is super cool. I definitely want to try that PowerPoint trick because, I love my Microsoft folks. I am a Keynote user, but I think that's just such a cool way to kind of keep everyone literally on the same page. So without further ado, let me start sharing over here on my stuff and we will wrap it up. And I promise I'm not going to sing. This guy's like, no more. Yeah, you get 360 something days to stop. So there's been so much going on, right? There's so many tools that either ones we knew about or ones that we didn't know about. And, I've learned 6, 7, 8 that I had never heard of from you guys today. So I'm super excited to be able to explore those and share those as well. But this year has been kind of like this Wild West experience of like just so much stuff going on in terms of new products and new ideas. And, there's a lot going on, but in reality, there's a lot that we've realized, and I think each of us touched on it a little bit is like things are tough regardless. And I want to kind of go back to the fact that obviously the pandemic is responsible for so much of it, but it also exacerbated so many things that were not, that were real systemic problems that as educators we've been dealing with, but I think we've been confronting more directly these days. So I wanted to share a couple of resources that I think will be helpful for educators and for parents out there. These are 3 resources that deal with how to talk to students about very heavy issues. So Teaching Tolerance, Teaching with Testimony, and Speak Truth to Power are 3 resources that have lessons, videos, all sorts of virtual field trip options. And I'll just take you through them real fast, because I know that when I was teaching, I would talk about different topics with kids, and sometimes when it would touch on a political or a social issue that was happening, I wanted to make sure I was giving it the proper coverage. So Teaching Tolerance takes issues that are, again, very complex, and it tells you how to deal with students on an age-appropriate basis and how to have lessons and ready-made content ready to go. Here you can see that there's so many different lesson plans and strategies and films and all sorts of things. This one's actually really interesting. It's a lesson that's ready to go about consuming and creating political art. It's not left-leaning, so it's actually teaching them to be critical consumers of information. There's a lot of really good stuff on the site to explore. Speak Truth to Power has great resources for educators, but it also has wonderful things for parents. So I, as a father of 2 young kids, we're looking at ways to talk to our kids about what they're seeing on the news or what my wife and I are talking about at dinner or in the morning. So this is a resource that I think is really wonderful. There's a family guide. It's also available in Spanish. There's virtual field trips associated with the site, as well as a lot of teacher content on a variety of issues. So really exciting resource there. And then one that Hall had showed me is the USC Shoah Foundation and Discovery Education. They had partnered with this Teaching with Testimony. And there's a virtual field trip option here as well, but they also have some really cool content around having activities where students are doing this new Stronger Than Hate challenge. So you could actually enter a video or poem or song or some sort of creative content around how to combat hate and how to have a peace existence, and you have a cash prize. So hey, why not change the world for the better and make some bucks doing it, I guess. Switching gears a little bit is looking at the self, right? I feel like the stress level for so many of us, especially educators that are going into classrooms, you're putting yourselves sometimes physically in harm's way, putting yourselves in a more stressful situation. And for our students, it is so bizarre. I pack my kids up with, they're putting on the mask and kiss them as they go out the door, hopefully that they're going to be okay. It's definitely tough. And I think that there's some ways to kind of center ourselves. I was not a big mindfulness person, to be honest with you, before, but I feel like these are types of things that, we can expose our kids to. This is a site, Allo Gives. They're a site that makes all sorts of different videos and things. alloyoga.com. So their main business is not actually videos about mindfulness, but there's a ton of content that are short videos that are free about some yoga stuff, some meditation, SEL content for younger learners. And there's also even creative worksheets where you can kind of go through. It's a little metacognitive piece about how you talk about your feelings, how you feel. And Headspace, if you haven't played with Headspace, I know I had done this a while ago. My kids use this sometimes when they can't fall asleep. We put on a Headspace meditation for kids just to allow them to kind of understand their feelings, get in touch and think and be reflexive. It's important to kind of obviously be there. It's difficult to kind of parse being there for yourself and being there for students at the same time. But I know that that's what you guys are able to do. Hopefully these are some tools that will help you. Switching gears completely. So looking at a tool that I think will help with the other thing we're facing is the fact that we're distanced, whether we're virtually learning or physically learning at a distance. This is a cool site. It's called Verbella. It reminds me very much of a site called Second Life, which some of you in the audience are like, what's that? And I feel much older right now. So Verbella is basically a virtual learning environment. So this is actually a school in a traditional look and feel made in a virtual space. What I loved about the site, and it's not covered here in the demo, is that you actually don't have to sit in rows. You don't have to sit in desks. You can walk into different spheres and create it on a virtual campus. And basically you're in your avatar, which you create the avatar, walks into a sphere. It could talk to the people there. So Leslie, Kathy, Hall, and I could be in one bubble talking, and I could literally walk my avatar out and go to another group and be talking to them now. So it's very, very cool. There's some really neat features with it. They're just kind of expanding out into the education space. But, again, making that interpersonal connection part of the student experience, even when you're at a distance, is just so important, no matter how you can do it. Hey, opportunity knocked, and there is an illuminated mute button. Leslie showed the Elgato, which I love, and you could actually program that. And I think someone in the chat actually was saying that they program it with a red and a green button to mute and unmute themselves, which is brilliant. I love it. But if you want, you can back this on Kickstarter. 5,000 plus people have already. It's an illuminated mute button, so you know when you are on mute or when you are talking. Here's how it works. All right, now you got the demo. That's the shortest demo known to people. It reminds me of my hashtag key. For those of you that saw FETC years ago, it was a single purpose keyboard key, and all it did was create a hashtag on the keyboard. One more for the classroom. This is a great story. This is a guy that created something called Overviewer for Zoom. This is a document camera that runs off of your phone or iPad. It is free. It was created because this gentleman's wife is a teacher, and he wanted to make something for her. It treats the camera input or the cell phone input, the iPad or the camera. I'm speaking like a 95-year-old anyway. So it treats that as a document camera that feeds directly into Zoom. It'll work wirelessly, or it'll work wired. It is really good, and there's very basic functionality like zoom in, capture screen, flashlight, etc. Teachers are loving this. I know you can wire up certain devices to do this, but it's actually a really simple and easy way to do it. Check it out, overviewer.app. Another site I want to share real fast is this site, which, let me go to the actual site over here. It's Blast Off Tutoring. Blast Off Tutoring is a tutoring site. Now, why am I sharing that site? Well, it was created by 2 local high school kids in my school district. They created it in the spring to help the students connect and work together in small groups to do tutoring. And while the site, of course, is not something I'm